All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sports with Skiz, episode 20, another quick milestone. Today, we're going to talk about week eight of college football from this prior weekend. I can't believe it's already week eight. Knock, it's flying by, brother. How you doing today?
Man, dude, I'm good. I'm good. It's Tuesday. We got some football tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we got some
Kennesaw State
football.
action, some Western Kentucky action, so
Yeah,
fuck yeah, man.
yep. Yeah, I'll be tuned in. I'm not a big NBA guy like yourself, so I probably won't be watching any of those games tipping off tonight, especially with Brown being hurt. There's no point in me to watch. Plus, there's 82 games for a reason, right? And Pittsburgh doesn't have a team, so I have no reason to follow like yourself in your Knicks jersey back there.
Yes, sir. We play tomorrow night versus the Cavs. Yes, sir. We back, but hold on, Frank, because this is college football time. So
This is college football time, and let's start it off. Let's talk about a game that actually happened Friday. Knock, the Miami University of Miami, the U, is not back as they got upset by Louisville, 24 to 21. The number two ranked Hurricanes go down at home. To be honest with you, bro, I'm a little upset with myself for not talking about this game last week. There's just something about weird games during, Thursdays and Fridays whenever an unranked team's going into a high-ranked team's spot. You could even remember, I think was it last year Miami won on like that walk-off Hail Mary that really shouldn't have been a Hail Mary. Wasn't that like a Friday game last year too?
I have to go back and take a look at which.
But the whole time, bro, I was feeling like Louisville could, potentially pull up this upset if their offense took care of the ball and if their defense showed up. And holy shit, did their defense show up? Carson Beck looked juvenile. He had four interceptions on the night, no touchdowns. He just looked lost. And worst of all, he kind of threw some of his guys under the bus in the post game press conference. I don't know if you saw that at all, but lack of leadership, it looked like there. You could tell, obviously, he was frustrated. He had a chance to kind of backtrack his words a little bit and just, I think he was seeing red after that game. But the U's never coming back, Knock.
I, you know, I, I here I am trying to be the voice of reason for Miami when I'm probably one of the harshest guys out there. But let's define back for a second, because the season's not over. You know what I mean? Carson Beck, he isn't bad. I think he went out and made some incredibly bad decisions. We're talking about multiple interceptions in double, triple. I think I saw his first pick was in like quadruple coverage on a post route down the middle of the field. Maybe his second, if I'm not mistaken. So that team is run through Mark Fletcher Jr. He had 18 yards on the ground. I mean, it starts there. That's what's going to make Carson Beck solid. Miami's got a pretty good team, man. Louisville definitely shocked me. I wanted to take Louisville money line. Miller Moss, I just didn't know how much I can trust him. He actually gained a little bit of respect for me. So, yeah, I think Miami will be okay. I think they'll make their college football playoff as they should. Back like 2000, 2001, back like 87, 88, back like no, probably never. They might never get to that point, but
Mhm.
really, really damn good. I mean, they can still hit that mark.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just funny that I think I more so talk about it kind of like in a like a joking way because just everybody's like, "Is the U back? Is the U back?" I'm like, "Well, the U was back briefly, like in the early 2000s, but besides like the late 80s, early 90s, like has the U really been back?" Like I'm looking at their year over year history since 2003. They've had two 10-win seasons, so this year might be their third. They've had a couple of 9-win seasons thrown in there, but I mean, since they've entered the ACC in 2004, they have not won the ACC, and I believe they've only been in the ACC championship once and they lost. So I don't know. It's weird. Like obviously, like you said, they do have a chance to, run the table and win out, but it's just disappointing. I thought that they would go undefeated with this schedule, how good that they've looked, and they just fell flat on their faces. I don't know if they were kind of, getting ahead of themselves, looking past Louisville a little bit, but I just thought it was an all around, bad performance. Besides, Malachi Tony, the true freshman who should be a senior right now, that dude's a legit legit ball player. He can fly. And then I got to throw my roses as well to Chris Bell, who had a phenomenal game for them. He led them, Louisville, in receiving, excuse me, 136 yards, two tutties. And then Miller Moss just did what he had to do. He took care of the ball, two touchdown passes, both to Chris Bell. So shout out to the Cards, man. That's a huge, huge win. So yeah, I mean that's going to be some momentum for them as well too. They're sitting at 2-1 in ACC play, 5-1 overall. So anybody could really run the table right now and make it to Charlotte in the ACC championship.
Yeah, ACC, Big 12, those are, and you know what? There's really nothing that's truly safe other than maybe Ohio State right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a team that's looking really damn good. Texas A&M, man. Marcel Reed. These guys are stellar. They're good offensively, man. They just kind of do it right. And Texas A&M has just been one of those programs over the past, what, we'll call it 12 years. I mean, they were low key getting to being good when they got Johnny Manziel, but Johnny took
Hmm.
them over the hump. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
yeah, Texas A&M, dude. I'm trying to take a look here. Arkansas, even though Arkansas played with them a little bit, pause. Uh, they're still Marcel Reed, 280 and three scores, no interceptions. The guy's playing like an absolute baller right now.
Yeah, he's really good, and he has that athletic ability. I think he had a rushing touchdown as well too. So he's not just a passer; he can make plays with his feet. Obviously, we saw that against Notre Dame when they had that big win. But the biggest thing from Texas A&M too, I just think that this was kind of like, I don't know, their defense was a little bit lackadaisical this week. But once they're like when they're all playing together as a unit, like they look really, really good. I mean, obviously they've given up 40 points twice with this week, and then Notre Dame, but they held Florida to 17 points, Mississippi State to 9, Auburn to 10. I know those teams are more so bottom of the barrel there in the SEC, but it's going to be interesting to see. They got to go on the road next week to Baton Rouge and LSU, and then the following week after that, they have to go to Missouri, and then they end the year at Texas. But I really, really like this Texas A&M team. Something does feel a little bit different down there in College Station. I feel like you said, um, there's been years past, probably over the last 5, 10 years, that they've had high expectations, and we've seen it with Jimbo Fisher, where they just did not execute. They were bringing in a top 5 recruiting class every year, and they would still somehow finish with 4 to 6 losses, which didn't make any sense. But, they got money down there. They're spending it on their roster, and, you could see it paying dividends. So, yeah, shout out to them. I know Arkansas. Hey, I guess at least you're fighting a little bit. They scored a touchdown in garbage time to make it a little bit closer than what it was. But I don't know. Arkansas season's basically chalked right now.
It's done.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what the hell's going down there in Fayetteville, but we shall see. Moving on to another team that I'm super, super impressed with, and it just feels like each week they just like continue to show that week one against Florida State was a fluke. And I'm talking about the Alabama Crimson Tide beating Tennessee 37-20. They really did not have to stress much in this game. Although they ran the ball for 120 yards, they couldn't really get the run game established too much. Jeremy Bernard had 4 rushes for 49 yards. He was their leading rusher, but man, Ty Simpson, he looks really, really good. Finished the game 19-29, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ryan Williams continues to, play at the level that we were wanting to see earlier in the season. I know he faced a little bit of injuries and stuff like that, but Crimson Tide, man, they're looking tough. They look really, really good. Their defense is playing, pretty good football as well too. I don't know why I was about to say baseball. I guess watching Game 7 last night, but yeah, man, shout out to the Crimson Tide. They just continue to show their fans, hey, week one, let's slow the roll. Talking about firing Caleb DeBoer, myself included. Let's slow your roll. We got his back. He got ours.
Yeah, speaking of week one, Alabama took that loss to Florida State. Hoo-wee! Stanford, Stanford, the Cardinal. Okay. Yeah, Florida State, they're a fluke. Alabama, by the way, just to, elaborate on what you're saying to the people, is Alabama's back.
Hmm.
Bama's back. Okay, they're scary. They're lethal. They're a threat. They are going to have make a run at the college football championship without question in my heart. But let's switch it over to Florida State. Mike Norvell, what's going on, pal? You know what I mean? I mean, 17 and a half point favorites going into Stanford, lost their first quarterback. They bring in a second quarterback. I mean, my goodness, they only had 140 yards passing as a team. I mean, shout out to running back Cole Tate. All right, the guy had 188 yards on the ground, three touchdowns. He's a 5'8", 200-pound freshman. I just want to make sure I have his name correct. Um, Dude, they're just like Stanford's defense, by the way, phenomenal. They just played their tails off. Look, a guy like Tommy Castellanos comes once in a while, and his name is Johnny Manziel. You can only make that work. So you have to be special. The team has to be special for that to work. I like Castellanos. I liked him last year in Boston College. I feel like he didn't have to hold the ball as long. I feel like they got it out a lot quicker. I feel like he didn't have to do all this 20-yard running back and forth, but had all the not just ability, but all the plays. You know, they gave him the opportunity to go downfield. Speaking of Tommy Castellanos, hope he's all right. He got absolutely killed, Mike. I
Yeah,
thought
he
he
got
low
rocked.
key, you don't want to be funny about this type of shit. I thought he was dead. Like the way he just hit the ground and then just got up and like he was just full, just dead weight on the ground. So I hope he's all right, man. You know, he is a good ball player. You hate to see what's going on there down in Florida State. Where do they play in Florida State? That's not Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee. Okay, Tallahassee.
Yeah, Tallahassee. The craziest thing about Florida State, do you know when their last conference win was?
Jameis.
No, it feels like it, but it was actually a year and a month ago today on this date. They actually beat California September 21st, 2024 by the score of 14-9. So that was their last ACC conference win. It's been over a calendar year since then. Mike Norvell, holy shit, is your seat burning fucking hot? I would not want to be there. Funny enough, his brother just got fired over at Colorado State. I do believe they're brothers. I kind of think that I,
Rightfully
I
so.
just
They suck.
I just like I have no clue what you do. It's crazy to start the year 3-0 and then you lose four straight, especially after a huge win against Alabama. Yeah, I see Tyler's in here talking about Malachi Danzy. Yeah, he
My
played
guy.
really really well. Three receptions, 106 yards. He's having a really good season. Him and Deuce Robinson, those guys are like the only dudes on offense that I'm like, okay, like they're the reason why you tune in to watch Florida State. Obviously, Tommy Castellanos as well too. But again, prayers to him. I know that there was a little bit of controversy at the end where they rolled that Florida State didn't score a touchdown to tie it. Um, just I don't really know. I mean, you shouldn't even be in a ball game with the Stanford Cardinal. I get that they got that huge donation from a football player, Andrew Luck, but it doesn't go into play this season. So maybe they saw that they got the 50 million and they're like, oh shit, maybe we could get a little piece of that next year and we'll try to show out. But yeah, Florida State is a lost cause right now. I do think. I don't know. I could see Norvell being gone if they continue to, lose these games and not really show up to play. I get it. You're playing in the West Coast. You're playing late at night, but I don't know. Something's got to give. You got to wake up for those games. Another really, really good game that happened during the daytime, but the Georgia Bulldogs survived and advanced against the Ole Miss Rebels. This game was so fun to watch. I don't mind watching defensive battles, but anytime that the offenses are lighting it up like this, and you got 43-35, it's a great game to watch. I thought both quarterbacks played decent. Trinidad Chambliss, his stat line, He had a lot of incompletions. I did think that Georgia's defense did a really good job of getting after him, not necessarily getting any sacks, but just getting pressure, collapsing the pocket, making it a little bit harder for him to throw since he is a little bit shorter. But Gunnar Stockton showed up in a big way, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was lighting that Ole Miss defense on fire. And yeah, Georgia gets a big, big win at home. The atmosphere was rocking. I loved watching this game.
Yeah, I caught the first half of this game. I actually let me just take a look here. I had Ole Miss first half, so they did me justice there. With that being said, I want to talk about Gunnar Stockton. His coach said after the game, I don't know, this guy's been dealing with like rib injuries throughout the season. He just with the type of quarterback he is, he's out there taking shots. You know what I mean? He's dual threat. We've spoken about it on numerous occasions. They didn't want him to run the ball coming into the game. They told him like, "Hey, we're going to try to keep this at a minimum for you here." And he's basically I said it yesterday in my winners and losers. He's like, no, that's not what's going to happen here. I'm going to run the ball. My guys need to see me run the football because they need to know what type of team we are and who's fighting for them. And 10 carries, 59 yards, and a score later, 5.9 yard average with a 22 long pause. I guess I don't know. With a 22 long, that's hey man, that's good enough for me, man. That's heart, man. I love a guy like that, dude. He's a guy that'll take you to battle.
Yeah, he's really good. He's had an up and down season, I guess, in terms of passing and just starting off slow. But again, it's got to show you the resiliency of this team. They were down last week against Auburn. They came back and won, and then heading into the fourth quarter, they were down 9 points and came back to win this one as well, too, by 8 points. So they did really, really good. Moving on to another game here. Let me pull one up real
Real
quick.
quick,
I apologize. Oh, go ahead.
to interrupt you. As we were just talking about Texas A&M, not a minute and a half later did I get a notification. The SEC has fined Texas A&M $50,000 and publicly reprimanded head coach Mike Elko after determining cornerback Tyreek Chappell faked an injury with 12:55 left remaining in the fourth quarter of Saturday's 45-42 win over Arkansas. And here I go. It's like fucking putting a damn sock in my own mouth or whatever. Like just because as soon as I speak highly of these guys, I hear about this cheating bullshit, and we don't like that over here. Not on this side. So Texas A&M, you just lost points for me. What the hell?
I think there's a lot worse shit that you can do than
What
fake an
the
injury with
hell?
12 minutes
No,
left, to be honest with you. Hold
no.
the refs accountable if you're going to do this to coaches. They have oil money. That's probably going to be like a $5 fine to them. No skin off my back. I know you don't like that knock. It is what it is to me. I
That's
don't really
because
give a shit too
that's because
much.
I watched Pitt try to do that for about an hour and a half in the second half during the West Virginia game. Pitt was just
I
like,
know.
just
Hey, it is what it is. I think there's a lot worse shit that you could do. I wouldn't even classify that as cheating. You know, if a fat man needs a break, a fat man needs a break. Mike Elko could probably attest to that. We don't fat shame here, but he's a bigger guy. Um, moving on to another game. I know, Knock, you covered this in your winners and losers. Shout out to Arizona State, man, upsetting Texas Tech 26-21. Levitt, man, he continues to show why he is such a big reason that Arizona State is kind of turning it around. 319 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He looked really, really good, and I mean, he's the main reason. You know, they came back to win that last drive that they had to take the win over was fantastic. I also thought that Arizona State's defense came out and played huge. I mean, they only gave up 167 through the air. They did force an interception as well too, and as a total, they only gave up 276 yards to a Texas Tech offense that I know was without their starting quarterback, but we seen this backup come in against Utah at Utah in a rough environment and light them on fire. And they were able to keep him in check. So shout out to them, man. This one was really, really a surprise to me. I thought Texas Tech was another team that could, similar to Miami, could skate through their conference and be undefeated and get a bye in the playoff. But Arizona State, man, they did what they needed to do.
They did. It was I mean you could tell the struggles that Texas Tech had on offense, especially early in the game. They couldn't figure it out, and there's a reason why they have Baron Morton as their starting quarterback and not Will Hammond, as even though he played well. And we're talking 22 of 37, two touchdowns, a 79 QBR, but um yeah, man, Arizona State, it was a great win for them. Jordan Tyson balled out. Jaron Hamilton had a couple of big plays in there. Ray Leak Brown, he was the only rushing factor that they had, 19 carries, like 70 yards. Um, but Texas Tech is, again, without their starting quarterback, and they still played well. I mean, it kind of shows you where the defense is at, and they have a lot of good things going for them. So Texas Tech is another team that you're gonna have to look out for, man. And if Baron Morton gets back healthy.
Yeah, their defense is legit. That's why I was kind of surprised that they gave up that drive late in the fourth quarter to let Arizona State take the lead. But shout out to Jacob Rodriguez, 12 tackles, seven solo. He had a tackle for loss and a pass deflection. I'm a big fan of him on Texas Tech. And also shout out to Jordan Tyson, like you said, that dude's going to be. I could see him being a first round pick in the NFL draft. I think he could be, one of those guys that goes into the NFL and is next, really good wide receiver, 6'2", 200 pounds. He has the size. And I feel like week in and week out, he's Levitt's favorite target to go to. And, he kind of shows you why. Jumping over to another ranked matchup, man, ain't the same Vandy that we're used to. Ain't the same Vandy that we're used to that we grew up on. Vanderbilt beats LSU. I almost said upset, but they were the favorite in this game, 31-24. The resiliency that they continued to show. They got after Gus or Garrett Nussmeier, excuse me, early and often. They only had two sacks, but knock. I don't know if you were watching this game, man. They were beating the living shit out of him, just hitting him damn near every pass. He was limping after every throw, getting it off the ground. His lineman picking him up. Diego Pavia just continues to show why he is a game changer. And this Vandy team, man, they could shock some more people. I mean, they have two more tough matchups coming up. They host Missouri that I already saw. That's a sellout there. They got to go to Texas, and then they're at Tennessee the last game of the year. So shout out to Vandy, man. It's cool to see what they're able to do there and turn that program around. I mean, that should be a program that could maybe stay close towards the top. I mean, the academics of the university, the location being in Nashville, they have sick uniforms. They just renovated that stadium last year, so it looks like everything is pointing to Vandy on the uprise here.
Yeah, Vandy looks great, man. And the score wouldn't reflect the kind of hell that Garrett Nussmeier was actually in. And we spoke about it on Thursday, Mike, and they tried. They tried to get the running game going. They had 100, maybe just broke 100 yards rushing on the ground. LSU did. But when Vanderbilt's got 240 yards rushing, that just changes the ball game completely, right? And yeah, Garrett Nussmeier just not having the season that we expected. But again, like not really that bad. Like 225, two touchdowns. He didn't throw an interception and only lost by 7. I'd say LSU, they didn't win the second half. They got off to a really slow start there in the third quarter. So um, Vanderbilt, like you said, is not the same old Vandy. They're no longer the armpit. Arkansas, maybe Kentucky might have taken that spot over there in the SEC. But Vanderbilt after Diego Pavia, I'm not really sure. But Diego Pavia, dude, this guy just week in and week out just continues, man. Like only 160 yards passing, but he had 86 yards on the ground, 3 total touchdowns. He just kind of does everything right, man. He's the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think one of the things that we'll see, I mean, continuing to see how this year goes, I feel like Vandy does have like I feel like they have some money down there, the South. It could be they're right in Nashville. I feel like there's a lot of chances that, hopefully they got a super fan that got some money, sees this and donates a little bit. They go onto the transfer portal and kind of re-up for next year. But the cool thing about this is I do love how Vandy utilized their tight ends. Cole Spence and Eli Stowers were their two leading receivers. And then even LSU with Trey'Dez Green, he was their second leading scorer. So a big game for tight ends. You usually don't see that too much, but again, man, shout out to Vandy. They're on a good upward trajectory right now. Um, Speaking of some more teams, some more ranked matchups, we got to talk about the Holy War a little bit here. BYU and the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons beat Utah at home. That game was awesome. The environment was crazy. I love when these two teams play, especially whenever they both wear solid colors with the blue and the red. I just think that that's always something that looks great on the eyes. We talked about it in the preview. I know I mentioned his name, but LJ Martin, bro, this dude is a beast at running back. 26 carries, 122 yards on the ground, 4.7 average. And then Bear Bachmeier, he played a fantastic game. Similar to Diego Pavia, didn't really have to do too much through the air, 13 to 22, 166 yards, one touchdown, but did have 11 carries for 64 yards and a tutty as well, too. Another guy that I really like, Devin Dampier over on Utah. I thought he played a fantastic game. But the big thing to me on this, we talked about it a little bit before, even though Utah had over 100 more yards of total offense, what really killed them, the turnover battle. They gave two to BYU. BYU kept the ball very clean and did not turn it over. And I think that was one of the big key determining factors of that.
Boy, I tell you what, I just will never agree with you on this. And there's going to be some little kid that's going to play quarterback here in about 8 to 10 years, and he's going to wear number 47. And Bear Bachmeier just makes it look so damn cool. Again, like his numbers are, yes, it does. You can shake your head no all you want, bro. It's different. It's cool. It's
Different isn't always good, bro. Different is not always
not
good. That's
bad.
something
It
this
ain't always
that's
bad either, brother.
that's that's something this culture is losing. It
Bro,
looks disgusting.
no, man, it's cool. It's the person behind it. That's what matters.
Mm-mm.
Who makes the 47, bro? And yeah, his name, bro, Bear's just so solid, bro. 105 QBR. Completion percentage wasn't the greatest, but you know, when you're just running the ball like that, when it's a dual threat with a running back like LJ Martin, they're gonna go do their thing. Again, I've spoken on BYU on numerous occasions for one point. They're just so well coached. They just
Mm-hmm.
do it right. They just do it right. And shout out Utah, they're a good ball club. You know what I mean? But BYU 7-0, man, and it's every year. I think BYU beat them last year too in a tight ball game. What was it, a 1 point game or something like that?
I think it was pretty close. They usually play each other really close.
22-21, they beat them last year. So Utah wasn't great last season. You know, they had dealt with their injuries, but BYU right now they've got their number as of late.
Yeah.
So
For sure, for sure. Another ranked matchup that we'll talk about here quickly as well too is Notre Dame. I think we both called this one. They beat the Men of Troy and the USC Trojans 34 to 24. Jaden Mayava, I gotta tip my hat to him. He played a pretty good game. He did have two turnovers that could have been a factor in losing this game, but that defense, man, we talked about how good their run defense was and how good they looked against Michigan State. Jeremiah Love said, let me show you a little something. 24 carries, 228 yards, one touchdown, along a 63. He's a beast. Notre Dame is finally feeding him the rock. The first couple of weeks, I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was like that they were kind of just ignoring him and trying to get too many people in the game plan with running the ball. Just give it to number what is Jared? Oh, yeah, give it to number 4 and just let him tote the rock. That's all you really need to do here.
yeah, bro. Three guys had rushing touchdowns between CJ Carr, Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love. So Notre Dame doing their thing. This is what they do offensively. You know, CJ Carr didn't have to throw the ball too much. You don't really rely on him too heavily, even though their offense is potent, man, and he's very reliable. You know, just 75 QBR for him. I didn't catch this game to be honest with you, so I'll have to take a look here. Mayava, 22 of 42, he makes big plays happen. I mean, you know, for a
Hmm.
50% completion percentage, for him to have, you know, 330 yards through the air, dude.
Yeah.
You know, Jacoby Lane balled out. You didn't really see too much from Makai Lemon. You know, 4 catches, 76 yards. Notre Dame's tough, bro. They're tough.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not,
Notre Dame is go ahead.
they're not, I was just gonna say they're not great. They just kind of do what they do. They're now in stride. So I think, who does Notre Dame play for the remainder of the season, as a matter of fact?
I got it pulled up right now. They got to go to Boston College, so that should be an easy win. They got the rivalry game against Navy. They're at Pitt. They host Syracuse, and they go on the road to Stanford as well too. So, um,
Man,
I could
let's
see
hit the
them.
Notre Dame game.
Say it again.
Let's hit the Pitt Notre Dame game.
Might have to be honest with you. There could be an instance where, both of these teams are kind of winning out and they could both meet with two losses, which would be pretty cool. I know that there's a lot of Notre Dame fans, Notre Dame fans out here in Pittsburgh as well too, just with the Irish heritage. But I am excited to see this. I mean, Notre Dame too, even in their two games that they lost, they didn't play bad. So they put up 40 points against Texas A&M. 24, I believe, against Miami. It just, they were new, had a redshirt freshman quarterback coming in and had to really find out who they were. But they definitely are catching their stride, kind of like what you were saying. And then, Knock, I did have one thing I wanted to see. Did you see this Virginia and Washington State game at all?
No, but I wanted to talk about Virginia, and even though it was a tight ball game, what, 24-22, Virginia's hot.
22 to 20.
Yeah, 22-20. Yeah, Virginia's hot.
Did you see how it ended? Like how they got 22 and what happened?
No.
All right, well, I don't blame you because the game was on the CW. But anyways, I saw this on Twitter. Um, I believe Virginia had just scored or kicked a field goal. They kicked the field goal to make it 20 to 20, right? With 2 minutes, 55 seconds left. On the next kickoff, they kick it, and it's Washington State has two guys back deep. They kick it to the guy to the left, and the guy on the right waves for a fair catch. And the guy who catches the ball catches it at the 1 yard line. And so since he didn't um call for, or he catches it at the 3 yard line, excuse me. So the guy who caught the ball, since he didn't wave for the fair catch, and the guy who didn't waved for it, it's not a touchback. They had to get the ball at that spot at the 3 yard line, to which then they ran three plays for negative 2 yards, and Virginia got a safety to get that 22 points there.
Whoa, hold on. I'm trying to pull it up right here.
Yeah, if you didn't see that, make sure you go pull it up. It was
And
crazy.
I see the safety. I didn't see, but it's not
Yeah,
showing the play before it.
if you search like Washington State fair catch, it'll probably pop up. I saw that and my jaw dropped, especially because I didn't know that that was a thing, but it makes sense.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Well,
I'll
I'll
find
send
it.
it to
I'll
you.
find
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll send it to you. We can maybe put it in here, but if you didn't see that, please go take a look at that. It's crazy. But yeah, shout out to UVA 6-1, 5-0 in the ACC right now. They're looking like they might make it to Charlotte. You never know. They got to go to North Carolina. They got to go to Cali. They host Wake Forest. They're at Duke, and then they got to play Virginia Tech the last week of the year. So that'll be interesting to see what the hell happens with the Virginia Cavaliers. Real quick, too, I didn't really watch much of this game, but just looking at the stat line of everything, Arch Manning is not back again. 12 of 27, 132 yards, and a 25 QBR. Um, Texas, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, man, this is it's bad. Yeah, it's underwhelming. It's underwhelming to see. Maybe he should have started out, I don't know, maybe at a different university in a different program, smaller program, less pressure on his shoulders. I mean, Kentucky's not even that great. They'll play you tough from time to time, but it's just Wisner, 12 carries, 37 yards. I mean, the offense, fuck, they didn't even have 230 yards of offense.
Right. Yeah,
They didn't have
it's
200 yards
disgusting.
of offense. You let Kentucky absolutely dog walk you, and for some reason they still lost the game. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that's ugly, man. That's ugly. Texas is PU.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think Steve Sarkisian basically said he's not giving up the play calling because that's what made him who he is and got him to where he's at. But switch something the hell up, bro. Everybody was looking at you as like a tactical genius with your play callings and the stuff that you scheme up. But looking at this, it stinks out loud. Texas had 178 total yards to Kentucky's 395. They had eight first downs to Kentucky's 26. They went 5 of 16 on third downs, and they had the ball 20 minutes compared to the University of Kentucky's 39, just under 40. I have to look and see what the hell happened. I think Kentucky turned the ball over in overtime or went for it and didn't get it, but I don't know.
That's
It
exactly
seems
what
like, is it?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. It was like a third or a four. It was a third and one, halfback dive. Fourth and one, same fucking play. Literally not.
Uh,
I'm almost positive that's correct because like I might have tweeted about this and like yo like I just watched Kentucky run the same play with a chance to win the game. Like a 6-year-old could have ran those plays. Like, oh yeah, Kentucky, bro. Just hey, let's ask to lose, right?
right.
I'm tired
Yeah.
of it. I'm tired of it, honestly, bro. It's just college, the NFL. We got third and one, fourth and one situations at the third and inches, fourth and inches. We if it's not the fucking tush push, it's just a simple dive up the middle every single time. I'm talking 7 out of 10 plays, and guess what, Mike? The defense puts fucking 7 guys on the line tight, and it just doesn't work for the most part. It just doesn't work. I expect offensive coordinators to sometimes just be the slightest bit crafty. Show me something. Football is an art. Give me something. Design a play call. Have something ready for third and one in the fourth quarter. Fourth and one after you get the first third and one. You know what I mean, dude? Like,
Hmm.
you can't, I get it. Sometimes you just got to let it be in the trenches. Who wants it more? But football is a chess match. It's a chess game. You got to be one step ahead. It's a strategic ball game. It's not all about brute strength and speed out there. These coaches have to provide something. And when I see
Yes.
quarterbacks who are supposed to be good and they're fucking throwing for 130 yards, 170 yards, 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, offensive lines giving up 7 to 10 sacks a game, what are we doing? Because your offensive line should never give up that many sacks in an era of RPO, of quick screens, of bubble screens, of halfbacks going in motion and flipping the ball to a guy right in front of you. This should not happen. You know what I mean? So this my age showing obviously, but I just get frustrated with the offenses and why they're not better. This is why I like guys like Sawyer Robertson, guys like Brendan Sorsby. These guys sling the rock. So I'll digress with that. There's other great quarterbacks. Obviously, Marcel Reed is doing phenomenal this year. This is just off the top of my head. So yeah, let me chill. Let me chill out. Let me chill
Yeah,
out.
no. Speaking of uh speaking of great quarterback play, I want to touch on this game real quick. Even though Boston College really, really sucks, shout out to the Yukon Huskies beating them on the road 38 to 23. Joe, oh God, Joe
I know his name.
Fagnano had a great game. 23 of 31, 362 yards, 4 touchdowns. That was a guy that was slinging the rock. Fun fact, this was UConn's first road victory over a power conference opponent since 2012 when they beat Maryland and Louisville. So it's been 13 miserable years for them playing power conferences on the road. So shout out to the Yukon Huskies. They sit at 5-2. Um, yeah, I don't really know. I was going to say something about conference play, but I forgot that they are not in a conference right now. They're an independent.
Independent. Over the last year and a half, I can't lie, my boy Joey Fag has been killing it. 23 of 31, 362, 4 touchdowns. He has. The dude's a stud, man. Good ball player. Go watch him play a couple of times, man. He
I
gets
have.
done. No, not you. I'm talking to the general crowd. 6 carries, 25 yards, and a touchdown on the ground too. So UConn's 5-2, man. You never know. I'm actually who they play for the remainder of the year. You have it pulled up?
No, I don't. I could pull it up here. Give me 1 second. I actually just exited out of their game. Where they
I
at
got it right
here?
here.
You got it?
Yeah, so they got Rice, UAB, Duke, Air Force, Florida Atlantic. I mean, you never know, man. UConn could not make the college football playoff, but though they might creep into the rankings. Might
Yeah,
top 25 or whatever. It's big for them.
they Yeah, they could. I forgot they have that weird schedule just because they're not in a conference and they'll mix it up a little bit. But yeah, shout out to the Huskies. Big shout out to the University of Florida's fan base. Billy Napier is no longer your football coach. Thank God. I know you guys are happy. We talked about it before. Every time this dude's seat was hottest, he would pull off some miracle win against a ranked opponent that he shouldn't have been beating. So, yeah, shout out to them. I think that he ended up finishing, was it 22 and 23, his career record? I'm pretty sure I saw.
Billy.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Big Bill. It also comes after they talked about how they are going to renovate the swamp and make it bigger, yet it's going to decrease the seating capacity. But shout out to the Florida Gators. I know you guys lost this weekend, but, or wait, no, they won, right?
They did on some their
Yeah,
defense.
they
Ricky
won.
Barman got an interception at the end of the game.
Yeah, yeah, they beat Mississippi State 23-21. To be honest with you, was not paying attention to that game. I won't lie to you. Just not one that was on my radar. Shout out to UCLA as well, too. Another win for them, beating Maryland 20-17. That's three straight wins. Nico looked okay. He had two picks, but he looks like he might be coming into a little bit of a stride there with the new OC, new coach giving him a little bit of confidence. Anything from that game at all, Knock?
I'm sorry, which game I was taking a look at?
UCLA.
No, you know what's crazy, bro? I had no idea that Neuheisel wasn't the interim head
Oh,
coach.
really?
I had no idea. And I'm watching the game. I'm like, why do they keep showing this guy? Like, why do they keep showing what's his name? Tony Smothers? I think it is. Hold on. Let me see. UCLA interim coach.
Tim Skipper.
Tim Skipper, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, they kept showing Tim Skipper. I'm like, huh, that's not the guy I saw UCLA hoisting over their shoulders. So yeah, shout out Tim Skipper, man. He's got them in the right direction.
Yeah, shout out to him. This isn't the first time he's been the interim head coach. He was actually the interim head coach. Well, he was the acting head coach at Fresno State in 2023, and then the interim in 2024. So I guess he's kind of used to this. He went 1-0 in 2023, and then 6-7 in 2024 at Fresno State before jumping over to UCLA. Quick and kind of sad shout out, but shout out to the Oregon State Beavers. Even though it was their eighth game of the season, they finally picked up a win. Although it did come at the hands of a non-FBS member in Lafayette, the school that's actually here in Pennsylvania in the Patriot League. So they beat them 45-13. They ran the shit out of the ball. They had 42 carries, 365 yards, excuse me, five tutties. Anthony Hankerson, 25 carries, 204 yards, and four tutties. So shout out to the Beavers.
Yeah, they flipped the script. Believe it or not, I actually took Lafayette first half money line. It was at like plus 200 something, and they won.
Yeah, I saw
They
that.
won outright. So like I thought, I'm sitting there like, yo, they might mess around and beat these guys. No, Oregon State had to show them for them. I'm like, listen, we're still in FBS. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah,
still
for
in the
sure.
Pac-12, even though there's just two of us.
I got one special shout out here. I talked about it on my winners and losers, but shout out to Monty Quinn, running back from Division III Curry College. This dude had 20 carries, 522 yards, and seven touchdowns this weekend. Crazy, crazy stat line. He actually broke the NCAA rushing record across all divisions. So shout out to him, man. That's just there's a lot of guys who go unnoticed Division III, and regardless of the competition, if you're a baller, you're going to get that recognition. You're going to show out, and he did that this weekend. So shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to him. He went absolutely crazy. I saw that stat line. I'm like, holy hell. Um, I got nothing else to say after that, bro. That's performance of the week. Oh, UAB's receiver, Iverson Hooks, big massive upset over Memphis.
Hmm
11 catches, buck 70, three touchdowns. So shout out my guy Iverson.
Yeah, shout out to them. That was a big upset. Memphis was minus 23 and a half going into that game. So they were huge, huge favorites. I know they have a sick trophy for that game just because the Memphis Tigers and the UAB Blazers, I guess it's like fossil teeth essentially. So it's pretty cool there. But shout out to the UAB Blazers, first game since they fired Trent Dilfer and they pull out a victory there. So
Happy we have a
not
real coach.
yeah, honestly, not taking pictures of the crowd. So anything else that you want to talk about?
No, no, I'm all good. I'm ready for basketball tonight. I think I'm gearing up for some of that. We're gonna watch a little bit of Kennesaw State, who has been pretty solid this season. So yeah, no, we'll leave it at that. We'll drop some videos this week for you guys, some content every day, and then we'll get ready for Thursday and we'll get ready for the games on Saturday.
Hell yeah, sounds good, brother. Well, enjoy the NBA tonight. Enjoy some of college football as well, too. I know I'll be watching a little bit. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. We really do appreciate it. Continue to follow us on all of our socials. Comment on anything that you want to hear as well, too. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys again soon. Appreciate it.